The preservation and regeneration of the unique wildlife of Saudi Arabia is at the heart of the country's 30 by 30 project.
Red Sea, it is very special, very important by all means, community, economy, plus environmental.
Dr. Mohammed Qurban serves as the CEO of the National Center for Wildlife in Saudi Arabia. Dr. Qurban, it's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
To start with, tell us about wildlife in Saudi Arabia. What do we need to know?
Okay, it's a good question. And first of all, I would like to welcome you in Saudi Arabia and happy to have you here in the COP16.
Thank you.
And also, we are happy to see the COP16 here, very busy and successful story we have. Talk about the wildlife in Saudi Arabia. The nature of Saudi Arabia is different from any country in the world. Many people think of Saudi Arabia just a desert or dunes of sand. No, it's not true, because we have different type of habitat. Before I talk about the wildlife, I talk about the habitat, the ecosystem we have. So we have what we call the desert, the safari area, and there are specific organisms and plants live there. And more than you believe is a huge number of species. For example, the invertebrate, terrestrial, so far we recorded more than 6,000 species. So we do have the jungle, like forest in the southern part of Saudi Arabia, all. We have the desert and the special habitat. We have desert, we have the coastal areas, we have very unique marine system in Red Sea and Arabian Gulf. Arabian Gulf is shallow, and Red Sea, the average is more than 500, and the deepest point 3,200 meters. So with this habitat you have a huge number of biodiversity. If I talk just about the coral reef, we have the best 2% coral reef in the world in the northern part of Red Sea. Arabian Gulf, last week, we recorded 2 whales inside the shallow area. Imagine. So the terrestrial, we have all type of organisms that you can see, like mammals, oryx, ibex, gazelles. We have 3 species of gazelles in Saudi Arabia. If you talk about the carnivorous species, for example, we have the Arabian leopard, we have the cheetah, we have the caracal and hyena. We have different type of species of wolves. So the biodiversity is very high.
And in this context, please tell us more about the conservation of the wildlife, the sustainable conservation of wildlife in Saudi
Excellent.
Arabia.
If you talk about conservation, if I talk about conservation, I have to follow right now what we are doing as a National Center for Wildlife in Saudi Arabia. We are going in 2 paths. Path number 1, we need to look at if there is any damage. So we need right away to stop any damage coming to the environment or to the ecosystem and the biodiversity. Plus, we need to start do the restoration and rehabilitation. But the other part or the other path, if the habitat is okay and there is no problem with the ecosystem, here we're going to have to conserve and protect by the regulations we have in Saudi Arabia.
What is busier when you have to think?
If you think right now, I would say we are working the both. Unbelievable what we see. If I talk about just the Red Sea, it's unbelievable. We have a film is coming very soon about Red Sea. And we finished the whole baseline and data for the Red Sea by having a big cruise happened in 2022 from February to July with legs, just to cover all the Red Sea from south to north. The discoveries we found so far, more than 70. And
Discoveries concerning wildlife.
Discovery, yes. We discovered the blue holes. We find now more than 20 blue holes in the Red Sea. I am a marine scientist, by the way, and I used to be a professor at King Fahd University as a marine scientist, and I have many times been in the Red Sea. I haven't seen those. With this cruise, and we cover all the Red Sea, ourselves and colleagues from universities, King Abdullah University, King Abdulaziz University, all of them work hand in hand. All the scientists, PhD students, master students work with us just to cover all those 5 months or 4 months and a half from south to north. I cannot believe myself to see all those blue holes in the Red Sea Saudi area. So with these discoveries, we use the most advanced technology to find the discoveries. 2 weeks from now, we'll announce, start the expedition for the terrestrial in Saudi Arabia with the help of Oxford University and also colleagues from all universities in Saudi Arabia to work with us to discovery, to look at all the population dynamic in the whole Saudi Arabia.
As a marine scientist, how important is the announcement today, the Red Sea announcement?
It's a great, and I think this is really, we are happy to have this announcement. Red Sea, it is very special seas, to be honest, and very important by all means, community, economy, plus environmentally. The most resilient coral reef to high temperature is in Red Sea, in the northern part of Red Sea. Wherever we have bleaching in the world, we have this one it's intact and there is no any damage. So the sustainability of the Red Sea, we should work on it from day number one. And this
Because just to give context, today the National Red Sea Sustainability Strategy has been launched.
Yes, and this is the committee headed by His Royal Highness and also the executive committee also. They work day and night by all departments of Saudi Arabia to plan for this strategy. And today you can see the announcement, and that makes us all happy. But if I talk about the word sustainability, and you need to look at it from different point of view, this is what we are doing right now for the whole Red Sea, all to be protected for the very important point for the economy, for the community, for the environment.
Can you please talk about the hunting regulation in Saudi Arabia and how important
This
is
is a
it?
good story. I mean,
We love good stories.
yeah, for the first time in Saudi Arabia, by the way, not just Saudi Arabia, in the whole region, no, by the whole, maybe in the world, few countries really, they organize the hunting. As you know, hunting is sometimes, it's a hobby to many people, but the damage usually happened with the misusing the hunting. We are not against the hunting is fine, but you need to be organized with quota. So when the center started, the first part I said we need to stop the damage coming to the organism that we have in the terrestrial, especially birds, all type of gazelles, mammals. You need to stop this damage happening to the environment. So I said the best way, don't say forbidden, don't stop, just organize. And this is what I do believe. So we sit with internally all the scientists inside Saudi Arabia, then we jump to international scientists to work with us. Then third one, we deal with the international organization, like IUCN, like CBD, like CMS. We work with them hand in hand, and just to review our protocol that we made. Here we start in 2021, the first quota and the regulations. Some people they surprised and they don't know and shocked, new thing coming to them, and that's normal. But 2022, 23, 24, people start to work with us and support us. We have a quota now, and we can touch really. You can see the gazelles in everywhere in Saudi Arabia right now, where they used to be historically. Oryx, ibex, even the organism, life start to come back again. So our goal in the National Center for Wildlife to look at the equilibrium. It's not just to have organisms. No, it's a bigger story. We need to come back to the equilibrium.
How important is your conservation work for the wider society, both socially and economically?
Let us talk about again to sustainability.
Yes.
Sustainability never happened without three main pillars. This is in science. Everybody knows it. Number one, the economy. Number two, the community or the socialism. Three, the environment. Those three, they have to go together in parallel in order to have the sustainability. So this is how important to have the conservation, this one branch. And we believe in the center. And it is part of our strategic objectives that you need to look at the community. You need to look at the economy as you look to the environment in the same level. So this is what we are doing in Saudi Arabia now. I give a small story. We do have a problem with the baboon. We just have one species. It is very much distributed everywhere. Now we solve the problem with who? With the community. People start to work with us hand in hand. Don't feed them, they will go back to the nature. And this is what happened. Many of those go back to the environment, to their habitat. As you know, those are important. They have important role from ecological point of view in the ecosystem. So they go back to their normal places.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.